Welcome back to the next episode of Estes After Dark. Today's guest is Milla Rye.
Hi guys.
And I'm so happy to have her here today. She's gonna be interviewed. She's an esthetician who specializes in a few things. So we're happy to have her as a guest today.
Thank you for
being here.
Yes.
So for anyone meeting you, how long have you been in the industry and what made you start?
Yeah, so basically I've been in the industry for about like 5 years. I started during quarantine, and how I started was I've always loved the beauty industry and it's always been a passion. I love hair, makeup, always been into all those cosmetics. So I started five years ago during quarantine. And I just started from there. I was like, you know what, why not start my own business? I was always into like the anatomy of the face and features, so I was like, why not start lashing? So I just started lashing. I went to aesthetic school. I became an esthetician and started from there. Yeah.
Awesome. Which school did you go to?
Aveda.
Okay, Aveda. Aveda has a very different philosophy. Like,
Yeah.
I think I found Aveda like when they had their first location in DC, and I wanted to go there many years ago, but it just didn't work out. And then later on, I guess Aveda does do they do master program too, or just the
No,
basic?
I think they just do the basics. They do cosmetology and just regular esthetician.
Yeah, they're heavy on the cosmetology though.
Their class is so big. Yeah. There's so many people.
It's awesome.
Yeah,
so I guess I think the next thing I was going to ask you is how did you fall in love with like lashing, and like what's your record breaking time? Because I know like for me, like I do not have the patience.
Yeah, it's a lot of patience.
It's very tedious. So I'm just wondering like what made you fall in love with that and filler, because they're two very different polar opposite services.
Yeah, honestly, when I started doing lashes, the first time I ever started, I honestly took 4 hours, like with the client. That's like, who wants to lay for 4 hours? That's like way too much.
Yes.
So I was like, let me perfect my timing. So I remember I would buy a different glue because it required like the speed of the glue. So it's like very tedious and a lot of patience. So I just would time myself, and now I just lash every client in an hour and a half I take. So it's getting better.
Wow.
Big improvement for sure. Yeah, and it's been great, honestly. I also got into I'm starting the filler, like more aesthetic for the lips and all that. So yeah, I'm starting that, so hopefully it goes great. So
I think it'll be awesome. You already seem to have like the mapping down, like even for lashing and stuff when it has to do with the eyes, like, you know, you go according to the person's hair color, their lash color, their eye color, the asymmetry of the face, and you have to put together a map because, you know, every lash look won't look the same on every person. So I think it's the same thing with lips. Like you have to figure out, okay, where are they at when they first come in? Like how much do they need here? How much do they need there? Like, and it's all about, you know, having the eye to catch that.
So. Which I think is beautiful, because it's like, once you perfect that skill, it's like, okay.
Yeah,
you know,
it's like you're an artist.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I'm saying? You're painting the canvas every day. What's your favorite part about transforming someone's face? Is it like the confidence boost, the technique, or what is it for you that kind of makes you like, okay, this is something that I love and this is something I want to do?
Yeah, I would say mainly like the confident boost and just reassuring them in a physical form, and as I'm doing that, also like speaking life into them. I would say, like, obviously when you look good you feel good, you know. That's could look like at the gym or when you go to work, however you show up, it's like, it's kind of like the overflow of what it looks like outwardly. And I don't know, I just love making people feel so loved, heard, seen physically, and I just love it. I love it.
Yeah, I love it. Like, it's nothing like that type of, some people call it energy, but spirit, you know what I mean? Because like it goes a long way, and people can really like feel that. That's what makes them come back to you and makes you special. So since you are pretty open like about your faith and you feel comfortable sharing it, I wanted to know, like, how does that influence your business? Like, being a Christian girly, like how does it influence your business or the way that you interact with your clients?
Yeah, I would say at first it's very intimidating, but I feel like you have to have a mindset of why did I start my business in the first place. And I feel like I came with the mindset of, okay, Lord, like if my business doesn't honor you, then I don't want it. So throughout the years, I've learned that my business is my ministry. And
wow.
Yeah, and that's where like God is using me to teach well, to serve well. And I feel like it's very important to show the Lord in every area of your life. And there's moments where, you know, you're with clients and like there's conversations that I'm like, Lord help me, but you always just have to show Christ. And just even by just showing love, sometimes you don't have to speak the Bible. You just have to love them and show the love of Christ. And like, hey, like I want you to know that you're loved, heard, and seen. Because some people, like, they come with the baggage, you know, they come and they tell you their story, like everything that they've been through. And it's kind of like, Lord, this is an opportunity where I could just show and tell them, hey, there's a Father that loves you and you're not alone in this, like, and just speaking life into them. So
oh, it gave me chills. Such a beautiful spirit. Like I can see like you doing like really big things. And like I think that's so important, like you said, like seeing this as a ministry, like a way to pour into other people, because a lot of people are very lost. They don't know. So yeah, I love that. So has your faith ever become tested, like whether it's burnout, comparison to other people in the industry, or just anything that may have made you question things?
I would say definitely burnout. There's been times where I'm like, Lord, like I don't want this, but it redirects my focus, like, okay, Lord, thank you, because I'm tired, because this is something that I prayed for. And it's a blessing to be tired, because that's something that the Lord bless you with. And I feel like sometimes we can become weary and like kind of heavy burden in that, but that's where like, Lord, like you give me rest in this season or this moment that I'm going through. It's challenging, but I feel like that's why it's important to like just focus, like, okay, Lord, like why am I in this? Why am I in this business? Like what's the purpose out of this? And I've learned to serve God and not myself, and it's been a blessing, you know. And your other question, comparison, that's a big thing, honestly. That's and there's just so many like businesses out there that you're like, wow, like, you know, she has all the followers, like her work, I want her work. And it's kind of like, God, like what you have for me is meant to be for me, and nobody can take that away. So just having that Godfidence, like, Lord, like the clients that you provide for me, the place that you have for me is meant for me. And my journey looks different from that person online, and you have to kind of be content with that, because it's your journey, your story. And that kind of gives me peace, like, okay, Lord, like you're writing my story, and you know what's best for me.
So yeah, like you said, having that confidence, and like when in doubt, just like not leaning into your own understanding, and kind of like getting back in your work, getting on your knees to pray, like get in your prayer closet, like so yeah, I 100% like agree. I feel like there's been several times when I've doubted things. Like there has been times where I would be building while I wasn't even working, or I wasn't even taking clients. And you know, sometimes you have to learn to kind of get out your own way and not be boastful, not be a bragger, be humble. So like whenever I post my content, I always try to make sure it's never like of myself. It's like, I want you to see like what God can do for them in their life. I've come a very long way, and like, you know, people who have known me my whole life, like I have a friend, she was just telling me the other day, like, you know, if anybody, like, you just deserve so much happiness. Like, so it's just about that. It's not, I told myself this year, like, I want to dedicate my business to God, because like,
that's awesome.
Thank you. I have a friend who's like, she's been like really like pulling me, because you know, sometimes you battle with flesh, and I'm not like trying to make this like a Christian talk, but you know, I don't mind being open about it, because I feel like sometimes I'm not as open about it as I should be. And so like, I have a friend, she's a hairstylist, and she's been like telling me like the things that I need to do. And you know, sometimes you're just hard-headed. She's like further in her walk than I am, and she's like, this is what you need to be doing, like you need to be obedient. And she was like, you will see like how, you know, you will be blessed. And she was telling me like, I don't promote my business, but she was like, I make over 6 figures easy, like, and she's not having to do those things. So, you know, I know the things that I need to do, and sometimes you know what you need to do. And so
that's good. Sorry, I want to add to that. I feel like when your foundation is built on the Lord, everything else will just add together, you know, and it's very important where your foundation is built.
Yeah.
So.
And that's what she always said to me. She was like, look at you. She's like, you're already blessed. She was like, you're already chosen. She's like, you're blessed even in your disobedience.
Yes. Oh, and that's just God's faithfulness. I'm just like, God is so good. Like, wow. Like, this is all because of you.
Like, sometimes if people could see like what's actually happening behind the scenes, they'll know like when a person is anointed or like when they just have favor over their life, because it'll be so many things that'll hit them and they're still gonna bounce back. Like, it's like the harder the test, the bigger the testimony. So no matter what, like, even if I've ever strayed away in my faith, I've always been connected to the vine. Like, I've never disconnected. So it might be like, oh, I know I'm over here doing the most right now. It's like, girl, you better shape up, because everything comes with a consequence, you know?
Yeah, no, and something that I want to touch up, I don't know, I was reading the story of Hagar. It's in Genesis, and it just reminded me how, like, when she ran away, she was in pain and she was trying to run away from because basically Sarah was kind of like talking down on, like, she was treating her really badly. And we could kind of refer to that as our circumstance. Okay, like, this is not going accordingly. Like, why is this going on? Like, why am I going through this? So Hagar just runs away in the wilderness, and God found her exactly where she was. And I feel like sometimes we want to run away from like our suffering and our pain, but God is like, I see you, you know, like I call you by your name, and it's like, go back to where you were and you don't need to hide from it. Like, I'm right here. And I feel like that's so comforting, because it's like God sees you and he hears you. And there's a verse, there's a word in the Hebrews called El Roi. So that means like God who sees you, and he saw her in the wilderness when she just wanted to run away. And I feel like God calls us to the same thing, you know, like, I see you, you know, you're here, you're present. I gave you this for a reason. And it's kind of like, thank you, Jesus. Like, you're redirecting my focus back onto you.
Yes. Like, so I feel like that's a word I really needed. Like, I know you don't know like things personally about me, but like, that's definitely a word that I needed for myself today. And with that being said, I got my new, I don't know what version. Awesome. What version do you use?
I use the NLT, but NIV, that's perfectly fine too.
It's like a study Bible, so I'm really excited about like opening it up. And you know, the Bible looks very like intimidating. Like, how am I gonna understand this? Like, so I had to get a study Bible, because I was like, that will help me. So I'm gonna put it right next to my nightstand.
You're gonna do amazing, great.
Thank you so much. What's something that people don't know about you, or aside like that the internet hasn't seen yet, that you feel comfortable sharing?
Probably, I'm engaged. I don't know if that's a thing.
Congrats!
Yeah, thank you.
Oh my god!
I feel like I don't really post a lot about that. I would say that's like the only thing, honestly. Yeah, I feel like I'm very open, but yeah.
That's awesome. Congratulations. That's something that I understand, because like relationships, children, those are kind of like very sacred things that, you know, I don't believe that everything is for the internet. So I totally agree with that. Like, when you really love something, not saying that the other things that we post we don't love, but like, I had just made a talking point about this the other day, that there are certain things that the internet just doesn't get from me, because it's just not your business, number one. And also, you don't need to know my husband or my man's favorite color, or like where we're having dinner at, you know what I mean? Just doesn't make sense. What is some advice that you would give to a new technician, whether lash or injections? Like, maybe they're afraid to take the first step. What advice would you give them?
Oh my gosh, I love this so much, because I had no help going into, not saying that there wasn't some, like, I really stepped into this without knowing anything. I was like, what am I getting myself into? I just jumped right into, I didn't think anything about it. But the main thing that I would say is, don't be discouraged. Like, how we talked about comparison. Don't be discouraged. There's gonna be more people that have more followers. There's gonna be more people that have maybe better timing or work or whatever you want to call it. But I feel like just go in it like it's for you. I feel like whatever door God has opened for you will be for you, and if it doesn't work out, that's also a blessing. So it's kind of like, it's whatever. Kind of like I was saying, I feel like when so let's say you want to start your business, like I fell into, I would have mental breakdowns where I would be like, okay, like the glue is not working, my table or this and that. I was going crazy. I was like, I have no guidance, no help. And I just had to figure it out, and honestly, like it takes to fail to know, okay, hey, this didn't work out for me. Let me try something else. So you're gonna fail.
So, have you ever, just wondering, like, I know you're kind of, like, how long have you been lashing?
Like 5 years.
Okay, so 5 years. So you've been in the industry for a long time.
Yeah.
Longer than me, probably. But have you ever had, like, a bad review?
Honestly, I feel like when I first started, I did have an incident where there was a miscommunication. I think, I forgot what happened. It was her birthday, and I wasn't doing any like discounts because I was just starting. Because I was like, because I was already cheap. I think I was charging like $50, and she wanted a discount on top of that. And I was in the next I'm like, no, I'm sorry, I don't do that. She's like, this is bad service. Like I feel like I'm able to get a discount on my birthday, like at least $5 off. I'm like, I'm sorry, but I'm not in the, like, I'm just starting. And she was like, this is unprofessional, like, like what's going, like, just saying a whole bunch of stuff. And I did feel discouraged. So I was like, is it my fault? So yeah, there's been that occasion. Yeah, I would say that was like one of the biggest ones.
I think what I had to learn was that my price is my price, and it's non-negotiable. Like, and you got to stand 10 toes down on that, because there's so many people out here. You can give them all the discounts in the world, and they will never be satisfied. Like, I'm a new lash tech. It's already taken me 4 hours to complete the service, and you want me to pay you? You want to pay me $45 for a set? That's diabolical. And because like that's so true. And your work, like your time that you put into it, that's also time being invested. Like it's a lot. Like it's not just, oh, let me do lashes. Like, no, it's like you're showing up, and it's a lot. People can be inconsiderate, but their job is to push to get what they want. So you just, once you know what it is, if they really want you to service them, they'll figure out a way. Yeah, that's for sure. And then sometimes you don't even want to attract clients like that. You wouldn't want that person as a long-term client anyway. Yeah. I can say, like, for me, I did have a bad experience, but it's never been like a character flaw. It was more like, I was new to the company, and I didn't know the skincare brand. So I didn't know how to use it properly. So like, that was the first thing. They didn't offer training on their product. So that should have been my number one red flag, that this might not be the place for me, because they're not actually educating their estheticians. And the second thing, and also they weren't setting them up for success, in my opinion. And then the second thing was where I kind of messed up. So the client came in, and I was new to their booking site. It's called Vagaro, I believe. And so I didn't know that she was there for a massage or a body scrub, whatever. So I knew that day I had a person for a facial, and I knew I had a person for a body scrub. I mixed up the services. So the person who came for the facial, I gave her the body scrub. And calling them patients now. The person who came for the body scrub got the facial. The person who got the facial, who was there for the body scrub, gave me a 10 out of 10. Even though she was getting the wrong service, she was still happy with the service.
Wow, that
second client, not so much. I'm asking her, like, hey, so you're here for a facial, right? And she's like, I'm not really sure, but I'll take a facial. I said, okay. So I gave her a facial, because I'm thinking, like, she knows that, like, if you go to a doctor's appointment and you're there because you have a sinus infection, and they take you to the back and they ask you, are you gonna say that something's going on with your hip. No, you're gonna say I'm here for a sinus infection.
Oh my
She didn't do that.
Yeah.
So I went through with the facial with the products that I barely knew how to use.
Oh my
And
gosh.
she told them that like it was burning. She already had dehydrated skin though, so I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah.
But she told them that like the products used, like it was burning. I didn't get a bad review. She liked me as a technician. She felt like, oh, her service was great. She was just like, I didn't have a good experience with the products used and stuff like that. So like it still makes it like, this is not a 10 out of 10 service. Like it looks like, oh, I don't know what I'm doing.
Right.
You know? And so I took the L on that one. I was like, okay, yeah, that's on me.
Right.
I didn't check the books to make sure she had the right service.
Yeah.
I had to take accountability.
Right.
And I didn't really know the product knowledge, so I probably should have stuck to the easiest things that probably wouldn't have caused any type of irritation.
Yeah.
Anyways, for me, I'm gonna keep going. Like, as long as I'm not messing you up, I'm gonna give you the full service. So the owner ended up, like, I know she was very upset. Like, she told me that, like, you know, as an esthetician, like, it's our job to know what they're there for. You guide them, you don't ask them this. I was like, okay, cool, you're right.
Yeah.
You're right. But I also never been in that type of position before. Like, I never did body scrubs. Like, I was only an esthetician.
Yeah.
Because I'm not even gonna go into that, but I think
that's a whole nother
story, because you should know what I'm talking about right now. So like, I ended up falling into the category of doing body scrubs and doing facials, and I'm like, whatever, okay, cool. So I had to say, like, you know, she was upset about it, but because she liked me, she moved forward. Like, she said, like, okay, let's just continue. Like, she was just saying that, like, she couldn't train me because she's a massage therapist. So she's like, I can't train you, I can't this, I can't that. Bottom line is, I didn't do so well there, and I felt kind of crappy about it. Like, it wasn't like I got a bad review online or anything. I just felt like, wow, this is a learning curve for me.
For sure. And you learn from that, you know, and that's where it brought you to where you are now.
Yeah, for sure.
That's, there's moments like that.
It happens.
When you first start, that's so normal.
It happens, yeah. And like, now I know what to look for in employers. Like if I ever want to work with someone, like, I mean, I can create my own what I want according to my business now. But what I'm saying is, like, if I want to look for employment somewhere, like, I know what I'm looking for now. Like, education has to be A1. Like, I want to know that you're really investing into your estheticians so that they are not going to fail. And then, like, just have the systems in place. Like, if you know the person's not used to using your booking site or your booking systems, like, some things are not intentional, some things are actually just mistakes, you know?
Yeah, I totally agree with that. Oh my gosh, right on point.
What is something that you're, like, currently praying for or manifesting for your next season in life, whether it be professionally or personally?
Honestly, since I'm starting, like, new services in my business, I'm really praying for direction in that, and just asking the Lord, like, is this what you want me to do? Do you want me to stop this? Do you want me to proceed something else? You know, you always have to put God first, even in the things that you think God wants. But in reality, sometimes God is like, let me redirect that desire to somewhere else. So, I'm just praying for my business, seeing where God takes me. I definitely want to keep growing more, and just praying for more clients and more services. I just love expanding, and that's just the whole purpose, you know, and serving God in that. So I would say that.
Awesome. And so I guess I want to ask you, like, because it's funny you said that, because, like, my hairstylist friend, she asked me a long time ago, she was like, I know that this is what you want to do, but how do you know that it's what God wants you to do? How do you know that it's his will? So, like, when it comes to that, like, how do you hear his voice in terms of, like, figuring out, like, is this actually what he wants you to do?
I remember I was a sub for, like, special needs for a little bit. I was a teacher for them. So I was doing that, and I had my business already, but I was never pursuing it as I should have. It was mainly just, okay, I have my Instagram page, everything, and there was a time where I was asking God, like, Lord, like, I didn't have enough money to pay my car. So basically, how I know it's from God, honestly, there's been many times where I left my business to the side. I pursued being a sub for, like, kids with autism, special needs, and I stayed in that career. And I always felt like God was still calling me back to my business, and I didn't understand why. I would have clients like pop up here and there, and I'm like, why? Like, I don't want to do my business. Like, I kind of just lost faith in that. And eventually, like, there was a time where I just stepped into my business again. I'm like, you know what, let me try it out again. And the Lord has provided the whole time. Even when it came to like, when the word of God says like, I will provide for all your needs, he just provided exactly the amount that I needed for my car, my bills. And that just shows God's faithfulness, and he has me still in this. So
yeah, we did it. And I just want to thank you for being my guest at this next episode of Essie's After Dark. And hopefully I'll have you back again.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.